again, a bit of a change of scenery today, and I'm out in the open. Just thought I'd make the most of a day off and come and enjoy a bit of countryside, which is something I do quite often. I enjoy coming up here. You're not seeing it at its best today. It's a little bit grey, a little bit cloudy, a bit overcast, but very pleasant nonetheless. Very peaceful, nice and quiet. You can probably hear a few birds tweeting off in the distance, but apart from the slight breeze and bit traffic noise off in the distance there, it's all very pleasant. Apart from, for me, there is this little high-pitched buzzing sort of sound in the background. That's because I've got tinnitus, and this is something I thought was probably worth doing a video about. I was going to do this yonks ago actually, but then we all kind of went into lockdown, and the whole business about talking how you protect your ears at gigs kind of became a little bit redundant. But now things are starting to relax a bit. I know some of my friends over in the States are starting to play gigs again. I thought it's probably worth talking about the importance of looking after your ears and not subjecting them to ridiculously high volumes and causing yourself damage where you end up like losing range of hearing, or you're given something like tinnitus where you've got this constant noise going on. So I guess to kind of start off with, why is it that gigs are so loud? Why do bands have to play so loud? And really it's just to mask out the background noise. If you've ever been to a gig, and I think this happened to me at least once, I've been at a gig and there's been a power cut or an issue in the middle of it and the band has just cut out. You realise just how much just general chatter there is going on in the crowd. Particularly if it's a gig at a bar where you've got glasses and bottles clinking on the bar top and things like that. There's actually quite a lot of background noise that the amps need to be, and the PA need to be loud enough to cover that over. So all you're hearing as a punter is the music. So that's why it's so loud. And the problem is, because it's so loud to mask out all the background noise, and the bigger the venue, the more background noise there is, and so on. You need to play louder, and then that becomes a bit of an issue because it gets to the level where if you're in that volume for an extended period of time, it can start to damage your ears. And if you want to research tinnitus, there's loads of good resources out there online, but basically it's about the little hairs inside your ear that pick up sound vibrations, because that's what sound is. It's just vibrating molecules of air, and they start to kind of bend over, which is with the pressure of the air, and they don't recover, and you're left with this ringing in your ears. And a lot of times I don't notice my tinnitus because I've got enough ambient noise going on. I'm in a building where there's air conditioning or just general background noise. It's not until I come somewhere like this where it's really quiet and it's much more noticeable. And there's things you can do just to basically protect yourself. And this applies, I'm talking kind of as an attendee of gigs, but if you're playing in bands, in a band, and you're playing, with live drums and amps cranked up really loud, you need to think about protecting your hearing as well. So the most basic thing you can do is just get a basic set of like foam earplugs, something like this. These will protect your ears. They will. You can pick them up fairly inexpensively at a local store. Chemists sell them, and basically they just give you a barrier between your ears and the outside world, and they just deaden the pressure. You can still hear perfectly well. I've worn these to gigs quite a lot, and they're fine. Only problem is they're not designed for like music use, so they're not what we call acoustically neutral. They tend to attenuate certain frequencies more than others, and I've worn them before and thought, the band haven't sounded particularly good, then just quickly taken my earplugs out and thought, actually no, the sound is okay, it's just the earplug was kind of degrading the quality. That said, if it's a difference between listening to a band with slightly poor quality for an hour and a half, or not wearing earplugs and then for the rest of my life having some damage to my ears and I've constantly got tinnitus, I know which one I'd go for. I'd go for the slightly degraded experience but protect my hearing. That's why it's better to look for something that's more like for the acoustic market, for the professional audio market. Something like this. I got these a few years ago, and they've got little inserts so you can say whether you want a high level of attenuation or a medium or a low level of attenuation. Personally, I always go for the highest. I don't see any reason to not. And the thing with these is they are acoustically neutral, so you've got as pretty much as good a sound with the earplugs in as you have without. So it doesn't degrade the quality of the sound any, but it just lowers the volume, it deadens the volume, so it's much safer what's going into your ears. And I was kind of getting on okay with these, and then I was talking to a friend of mine and he recommended the Earpiece ones, these ones, which I actually find better. I think they work better in terms of attenuation, and they're a lot more comfortable. Find them a lot more comfortable to wear than the Alpine ones. The Alpine ones aren't bad, I prefer the Earpiece ones. The important thing with like these kind of earplugs is to make sure you don't just get them and shove them in your ear. The foam ones, they're great, you just squash them, stick them in your ear and they'll expand to fill the space available. This sort of earplugs, like the Earpiece ones, you kind of need to like stretch your ear slightly to get a nice straight run down into the ear canal. Push the earplug in and it gets a good solid fit. It's all about having the earplug fitted well into your ear canal, so there's no space around it. Once you master that, it's dead easy. You get really good attenuation. So these are kind of my earplugs of choice for going to gigs, or if I'm playing anywhere loud, even if I'm just doing DIY around the house. I've got a power drill on the go into a stone wall, or I'm hammering or something like that, just to protect my ears. It's dead easy to stick a set of earplugs in. If you're ever in the situation where you're at a gig and you find this is just way too loud, I've got a problem here, I'm worried about my ears. I don't know if it's the same everywhere. It's different places will vary, but certainly in a lot of venues and like bars and stuff, when they have bands on, the venue owner has a duty of care towards their staff to make sure that their ears are protected. So they'll issue all of the staff with earplugs. So if you're really concerned, if you ask at the bar, chances are they'll be able to give you just a free set of just little disposable foam earplugs. They're not brilliant, they are just the foam ones. They're not about like super acoustic quality, but it's enough to protect your ears. This is what the staff are wearing day in, day out, because they're if they're at a venue and they're like 5 nights a week, they're seeing bands. They need the protection, so that's what those earplugs are kind of designed for. It's just pure protection rather than the quality of the acoustic experience. But like I said, it's about protecting your ears maybe for an hour and a half, rather than having a lifetime of damage. So something to consider. The one thing that I didn't mention was, talking of like free earplugs, the ones you sometimes get in hotels or long haul flights, like the foam rubber ones. Not really. I've tried those in like high volume situations. They're okay for keeping a little bit of background noise away, but I wouldn't trust them to protect my ears for like an hour and a half of like high volume rock concert type of volume. I don't think they're up to the job for that. Kind of going back to the issue of you as a musician. You can wear earplugs, that's fine, but something a lot more people are looking at now is like in-ear monitors, things like these. These are the ones that I use. They're basically headphones, sort of earbuds, the sort of thing you'd wear with your phone or your MP3 player or whatever. But they've got like a built-in earplug, like that foam thing around the ear there is to go into the ear canal and stop extraneous noise. So there's two benefits there. It stops your ears picking up like ambient sound, and just general ear protection from like the volume of it all. But also it means that what you're listening to through the in-ear monitors doesn't need to be so loud, because it's not having to mask out a load of background noise, because the background noise isn't there because of the earplug that you got built into the monitors, which is cool. And I wear these not just when I'm playing like live music, but I just wear them as just general earphones. If I'm wanting to work with a bit of background music on, but block out the background noise, put these in. I can have enough music to kind of help me concentrate and give me like an ambient bed of sound, but I don't have to have it blasting in my ears so loud that it's causing any sort of damage. I remember ex-girlfriend of mine, we went on holiday in somewhere nice, somewhere in the Mediterranean, and we just went for a walk one evening after dinner, and I remarked that you could hear it's a bit like it being in a Hollywood movie where you hear like the crickets in the background. There's all the little insects chirping away. And I said, kind of remarked on this, and she said, "Dave, I don't know what you're talking about. I can't hear anything." I says, yeah, it's really loud from all the bushes around. You could hear this noise. I said, no, I'm not hearing it. And then I realised because she had spent years listening to music on, you know, Walkman or MP3 player, you know, whatever. She'd done it for years, just with regular earphones, but liked the music quite loud. And then the problem was she's just had earplugs right in her ears, blasting away music, and she'd damaged some of her hearing. And now she'd lost a little bit of range of hearing, or like the quieter noises were just masked with the tinnitus. So that's why, you know, it's not just about when you're at gigs or you're playing music live, just when you're listening to music, just not having headphones or earbuds or whatever blasting music into your ears too loud. Otherwise it is going to cause, you know, it is going to cause some damage. And if you want to go the whole hog, of course the other thing you can do is get like professionally moulded earplugs. I know a couple of people have done this, where you can go to a specialist place and they'll actually use wax, and it's a bit like when you get fitted for like a false tooth or something like that. They make like an impression of the inside of your ear with like the surgical wax, and then they can make an earplug that's perfectly moulded and it'll perfectly fit your ear. And you can either use that just basically as an earplug, or there are people who will fit speaker drivers into those, so like headphone, like earbud type drivers, so you can have a combined earplug headphone type thing, like a set of in-ear monitors, but perfectly matched to your ears, which is going to give you probably the best acoustic seal that you possibly can get. I suppose the last point to make is just about like the cleanliness side of it. So earplugs, they're going into your ears, they get a little bit, you know, waxy or whatever. You know, there's nothing wrong with earwax. It's not dirt. It's just, you know, it's just a natural byproduct. So, you know, after you've used them, make sure you clean them properly and dry them. Particularly if you've got the foam ones, you need to let them dry out properly before you reuse them. Otherwise, they don't expand out. And also be aware that if you're pushing things into your ear, you can run the risk, I think, of like compounded earwax. It's a problem I've had in the past, where I was doing a lot of work where I had earplugs in, and ended up, I did honestly believe I was cleaning my ears properly, but when I went to see the doctor, I said, I've got this problem, I'm going a little bit more deaf than usual in my left ear, and there's just a massive plug of earwax had built up, and it was getting pushed down by the earplugs, like beyond where I could kind of clean it out. So that just kind of to be aware, you know, make sure you keep your ears clean, and take any debris and you know, wax and stuff off the earplugs before you use them. Just general common sense. Okay, I hope you found that useful. I hope you found that interesting, and hopefully something, a bit of information I could give you before you've given yourself tinnitus or caused any sort of hearing loss by listening to music at high volume. You know, it is important, you know, for, like I said, for the sake of, you know, an hour or an hour and a half at a gig versus a lifetime of ringing in your ears or not being able to hear certain frequencies properly. It's a bit of a no-brainer. You need to wear earplugs. You need to wear some sort of ear protection, and you can get some good quality earplugs for not a whole lot of money. And I'll put a link or two in the information section down there to the earplugs that I've used in the past and had good experiences with. If you want to check those out. The wind is picking up. It's a lot colder than it looks on the video, so I'm going to pack up and head back down to where it's a bit warmer and drink some coffee. Bye for now.